jump on the phone and do a little video to explain the origin of Assassin in the Night, because this one has an interesting origin story. So back in 2019, we were working on the second season for the Demen's Rock Opera, produced by Platinum. You can see it at the back here, there's a poster from that season. And Platinum suggested, and rightfully so, that we need a few new songs to fill in gaps in the story. One of them was an idea of creating an establishing song for the character of Layla, who ends up being a power player in the play. So I ended up writing the song, and we all thought it was arguably the best song in the piece. A lot of us performers felt really passionate about it, and we decided that maybe we should try and record it and release it as a standalone single outside of the world of the Dements, because it's just such a great song. We've done it, and that was just before COVID hit, and actually it's just been laying dormant on my hard drive for the past 5 years because I've been engaged with the other show that I've produced, which is The Hollow Cause. But anyway, back to the song. So when I was given the task of creating a new song for the Demen's Rock Opera, I felt really challenged by the idea, because most of the music for the Dements I actually wrote when I was in high school, in senior year. So more than 15 years prior. Well, now it's 20 years, but back then it would have been about 15 years prior. So I was trying to think, how can I reconnect with the mindset that I would have had as a teenager and compose in a similar way without all the lessons that I've learned since as a composer and coming from the same place. So I remember that when I used to be in school, because I had no way of writing music, I didn't know any theory, I didn't know anything. The only way I could do some record of it was to do voice memos for myself, and I would sort of sit and play pieces that would go for like 10 minutes, 15, 20 minutes, just all the little ideas I had in a very amateur form. And I thought, well, I wonder if there's anything in there that I didn't use. Maybe I forgot about it when we ended up developing the show, or maybe it just didn't make the cut, whatever it might be. So I'm going to show you for a second the computer here. Let me flip the camera. Okay, so just to prove that this is a real story, 100%, this is the file from a folder called All Demos. You can see my English was so bad I didn't even know how to spell the word ideas. And while this file has been transferred to many different computers, which changes the date of the file, if we look under the hood, we can see that the actual date of the file goes back to 2001. So that would have been my senior year in high school. So this is the file right here. The technology was so primitive that it only recorded on the left side, not the right, but I fixed it. So this file runs for about 9 minutes or so, and it has idea that it's pretty much a lot of songs that ended up making the show sound very amateur, because not only I didn't know how to write music, I also was not a great guitar player back then. So you can hear really abstract ideas, but eventually they became something nice. The guitar is out of tune, so I was listening to it and I thought, I guess there's nothing here to cultivate, because it was all already stuff that's sort of being used in the opera. But then, the very, very last minute, there is something new that I completely forgot about. And it doesn't sound like much, it actually sounds bad. It sounds like this. So I thought, all right, I can see a world where if we produced it properly, we can make a whole song out of this little riff. I can see chords that would go with it, that would make the verse. I can see ways that I can move into a counterpoint and create a pre-chorus and a chorus. So that's what we did. That's how it was created. Let me bring the project of the actual song that we ended up producing and show you how that riff translates when it is played correctly and has the backing of a full band. Here we go. It sounds something like this. So that's how that song came to be, and coming out Friday, the 13th of June. I hope that you check it out when it comes out, and I hope that you enjoy it. It's been 6 years in the making, or arguably 20 years in the making, depending where you put your starting point. And I'm super excited. Hey everyone, here to give another little behind the scenes peek into the production of Assassin in the Night. So I thought I'll talk today about the intro for this song. We're going to switch to the computer and let's take a look and a listen on what's actually happening in the intro. So it's a very simple line that is made out of 3 chords. Let's isolate the guitars and show you what's actually happening here. Now, this is going to be doubled by the bass, played by Mark Pereira. So then with the guitars. And then we have some brass. So the brass is made out of 2 bass trombones, 2 baritone saxes, and 1 trumpet. And they sort of stack up as we go. So we start with the bass trombones. And 1 bari sax. Now another bari sax joins. And then the trumpet. Oh, and then a second trumpet. Now to give it a bit more dimension, we have wonderful keys played by Kim Siragusa. One layer is doing the chords. These are 3 channels because it's a real Hammond organ and we recorded with 3 microphones. One of them is just a bottom end, and we have 2 microphones capturing the top. There's a second layer, which is again 3 microphones, just having like these runs on the keys that sounds like this. Let's see another one. So let's see how they sound when they are combined. The star of the show is Idan Friedman on the drums, playing an insane section that he executed absolutely perfectly. Sounds like this. Let's take a listen to how they all sound together. The keys, the brass, the bass, the guitar, and of course the drums. Here we go. I hope that piqued your interest. The song is coming out next Friday. We've got less than 1 week to go, so make sure you check it. Hey everyone, back to give you one more insight for Assassin in the Night. It's coming out this Friday, so this might be the last one, but we're going to dive into the verse and we're going to move to the computer to start discussing what's interesting about the first verse. If you've seen the previous video, you know that the intro for this song is quite explosive, and then where do you go from an intro that is so explosive and dramatic? Well, the logical step was to actually not go even more explosive, but to take it down into something that is much more mellow to create contrast. So I'm gonna actually show you everything in this song is designed to support the vocals. So let's take a look on what Sumi, our singer, is actually doing a cappella for this beautiful, haunting verse. This is going to inform all of our decisions.
And so tonight it's the breaking of 2 hearts, and as I shoot my darts, watch them fall apart to truly wield the throne. I'll have to reap what I've sown, depend on my backbone, no time to atone.
I'm gonna move next to the guitar line, which creates the main harmony. It sounds something like this. And this was actually recorded on 3 different amps. That's why we have 3 channels. This is my real life Vox. This is a digital amp, and there's one more digital amp. It's got a bit more phasing on it, a phaser, and together. Now, next, the guitars are supported by strings that create a beautiful harmony that extend the original guitar line. And the strings are made out of 2 cellos and 2 violins. This is the first cello. It was recorded by the amazing James L. Malay. I'm gonna add the second cello. This is also James, double tracked. And let's add the next violin, recorded by Yasmin. And we also double track Yasmin with another harmony. So these are the 4 lines together. Now for the verse, the star of the show, I would have to say, is actually Kim Siragusa on the keys. He recorded 2 Hammond lines. I'll just remind you, it's recorded through 3 different mics. That's why there's 3 channels and 6 in total. One is giving us support for the chords on a high octave. But in addition to that, we have some improv lines from Kim that goes in between the vocals, and that really is what makes this section work. It adds so much dimension and flavor. These are his ad-libs isolated. Alright, so let's take a listen to everything together. We're going to have Sumi's amazing vocals, the guitar line, the strings, and the keys. Here we go. This is the first verse of Assassin in the Night.
And so tonight it's the breaking of 2 hearts, and as I shoot my dart, watch them fall apart to truly wield the throne. I'll have to reap what I've sown, depend on my backbone, no time to atone.
So that was the verse for Assassin in the Night. I hope you enjoyed it and that it continues to pique your interest. The full song drops this Friday, the 13th, on all streaming platforms, and there's going to be a lyric video clip to accompany it. So once it comes out, be sure to let me know. Hey everyone, I'm here to do one final video for Assassin in the Night. The actual track is going to drop tomorrow, and today we'll take a look on the pre-chorus. So just to recap, the intro was super explosive and dramatic with horns and an insane drum solo, and then we sort of took it down a notch to this mellow, haunting vibe with no beat, with guitar doing some arpeggiating chords, a haunting melody, and these beautiful like shimmering keys that are amplified by some string lines. Now as we get into the pre-chorus, we're gonna keep sort of extending this sensation of us taking things down, and deliberately the bass comes back to add it some gravitas and a very simple drum beat. It's not even a beat, it's like a few accents, but we strip away everything else. There's no more keys, there's no more strings, it's just the vocals, the guitar, the bass, and the drums. So let's move to the computer. We have the vocals which have this melody.
They might trap, explode like a thunderclap.
And then the guitar gives us very basic chords underneath that. I think it's just power chords. Okay, it's recorded through 3 different amps. That's why there's 3 channels. The bass just follows the guitar and just gives us the roots of the chords. And this is the drum accents. What it really creates the sensation here that something is really ominous and this feeling of tension is a lot of delays and reverbs that are rigged together to create this really haunting echo. So I'm gonna activate them now. Let's actually go back to the drums, and you'll see immediately even from the drums how it completely affects this section. Let's see similarly how it affects our bass guitar. It's a subtle change, but once we put everything together, there's no denying that it just creates a big aura of mystique around everything. Let's also show how the vocals sound when all those echoes are added to them.
They might try, explode like a thundercloud. They'll never see me go. That's right, I'll hit them.
Let's get all of it together. The vocals, the guitars, the bass and the drums with the echo to create the first pre-chorus, which wraps up the intro section for the song before the main beat drops and the song really kicks into gear. Here we go.
They might try, explode like a thundercloud. They'll never see me go. That's right, I'll hit them.
So as usual, I hope it piqued your interest, and I can't wait for tomorrow to share the full song with you. Make sure you check it out and make sure you let me know what you think about the song, because I'm keen. Hello everyone, today we're going to take a look at the chorus of Assassin in the Night, and before that I'll give a little recap. So we had an intro which was really explosive and dramatic, and then it went down a notch to a very soft verse, and then another notch down to a very grounded and skimmed pre-chorus. By skimmed I mean that there wasn't a lot of instruments. And now we're about to reach the chorus, which is not only gonna hype it back up, but it's gonna actually reveal the true form of the song. So let's go to the computer and see what we ended up doing for that. Let's take a listen to the melody for the chorus, because that's gonna, everything else is basically gonna augment that. It's gonna go something like this.
Like an assassin in the night, assassin in the night.
The goal of this chorus, the first chorus, is power. Everything is now geared up to give us more power. It's less about beauty or depth or anything like that. We just want sheer power. So the guitars are actually recorded, it's quadruple tracked. So there's 4 layers of these guitars. They play exactly the same thing, and this is the main riff that escorts the vocals. We also have a bass that is double tracked. There's the DI of the bass and an amp. This one, you're gonna notice it has a very percussive sound. We really exaggerated the noise of the strings and the fingers to make it feel dirty and to give it a lot of presence, which is gonna add to the power of this riff. So take a listen to the way this bass sounded on the previous sections, how different the sound was and lacking that energy. It's extremely clean. And now let's allow it to get into the second part. So that's gonna really have an impact on how we perceive that riff. We also have the Hammond organ that's again recorded from 3 microphones. And what that Kim did here very wisely, he actually sort of had this like glissando runs into the chord sometimes, and those piano rolls that he does, they really add to the power of the riff. So check it out. Those tran, that's what we're gonna add to that. And in fact, to prove it, let's put the bass, the guitar, and the keys together, and you can see how they all interplay. Here we go. maybe the best addition to this riff is a suggestion by our cellist James. This was not part of the original string arrangement, but he suggested to add a cello for this, and he was absolutely right. And the visceral way that he plays the cello for this riff really sells this whole section for me. So it sounds something like this. What happens, you won't actually hear the cello in the mix per se. You would perceive it as part of the guitar sound. It's going to blend, but it's going to give it way more visceral energy. So let's put the guitars, the bass, and the keys and the cello together and see now the energy that we're getting. And of course, the ultimate power giver would be the drums. Dan Friedman on the drums, really smashing them with so much energy and really sells this section. So it's going to go like this. Alright, so let's listen to everything together. The drums, the guitars, the bass, the organ, the cello, and of course, Sumi's wonderful vocals. So here you go. This is the chorus for Assassin in the Night.
I'll hit them like an assassin in the night. Assassin in the night. Like an assassin in the night. Assassin in the night.
The song is out now. You can find it on Spotify or any streaming platform. Just search Assassin in the Night, Keshet, and take a listen.